You're here. You showed up today. You answered messages, you made decisions, you maybe even smiled at something. From the outside, everything looks exactly like it should. But you know that something is missing from all of it, like you're doing every single thing right, but watching it happen from somewhere slightly behind your own eyes. Present but not present. There but not really there. It's not sadness exactly. It's not burnout exactly. It's something quieter and harder to explain than either of those things. A kind of flatness underneath everything, like someone turned the volume down on you and you can't find where the dial went. You're functioning, fully, and somehow that's the loneliest part, because nobody can see it, because from where they're standing, you look completely fine. And you are so far from fine. You know what it's like to be in a conversation and realize halfway through that you haven't heard a single word. You were nodding. You were making the right sounds, but you were nowhere near that room. And then you come back for a second, and then you're gone again. It's like that, all day, every day lately. You eat because it's time to eat. You sleep because your body eventually forces it. You do the things on the list because the list exists and someone has to do them. But there's no weight to any of it, no texture. Things that used to feel like something just don't anymore. And you can't tell if that's temporary or if you've just quietly forgotten how to feel present in your own life. The hardest part is that you can't point to a reason. Nothing catastrophic happened. There's no clean explanation you can hand to someone. You just woke up one day and the color had gone out of everything a little bit, and then a little bit more. People ask how you are, and you say fine because fine is the easiest thing to say. Because explaining this would take more energy than you have. Because you're not even sure you have the words for it yet. You're not depressed. You're not falling apart. You're just elsewhere, floating about 2 inches outside of your own life, watching it happen, waiting to feel like you're actually in it again. Waiting for something to land, for something to feel real. Nothing does. Not right now. I know this one. I really do. I remember going through entire days and reaching the end of them and thinking, where was I for that? I was there. I did the things. I spoke to people. And somehow I have almost nothing to show for it in terms of actually having been present for any of it. It's a strange kind of exhausting. Not the tired you get from doing too much, but the tired you get from being permanently slightly absent from your own life. From performing okayness so consistently that you start to lose track of where the performance ends and you begin. I'm not going to tell you this means something is deeply wrong with you, because I don't think it does. I think sometimes the mind just steps back, puts a little glass between you and everything. Not to punish you, but just to protect you from something it hasn't told you about yet. That doesn't make it less lonely. I know that. Knowing why a thing happens doesn't make the thing easier to sit inside. What I can tell you is that I've been exactly this kind of absent. This kind of hollow while fully functional. This kind of invisible inside a life that looked completely fine from the outside. And I came back, not all at once, not dramatically, just slowly, quietly, in small moments I almost missed. You're still in there, and I'm certain of that. I tried to fix it. Of course I did. That's what you do when something feels wrong. You try to locate the problem and solve it. I made changes. I reorganized things. Told myself I needed more structure, less screen time, earlier mornings. Set an alarm for 6 a.m. like that was going to be the thing that brought me back to myself. It wasn't. I tried being more social. Said yes to things I would normally say no to. Sat in rooms full of people feeling more absent than I did when I was alone. Came home and stood in my kitchen for 10 minutes, not really doing anything. Just standing there. I journaled. Wrote 3 sentences. Stared at them. They looked like someone else's handwriting. I tried exercise. Long walks mostly. There were moments, maybe 30 seconds at a time, where something almost landed, where I almost felt the ground under my feet properly. And then it was gone again, and I was back to moving through everything like it was slightly underwater. None of it was a cure. I want to be honest about that. None of it switched something back on. But I kept trying things, not because I believed they would fix it, just because trying felt marginally better than sitting completely still inside the emptiness. Some days the attempt is the whole point, even when it doesn't work. I don't know when the color comes back. I wish I could tell you exactly when you'll stop feeling like a background character in your own life. I can't. What I know is that it does shift. Not because you finally figure out the right thing to do. Not because something dramatic happens and shakes you back into yourself. Just because at some point, without warning, something small lands differently. A moment of coffee going cold. Rain on a window. Someone laughing in the next room. And for just a second, you're actually there for it. You won't even notice it at first. That's how quiet it is when it starts coming back. But you're still in there, underneath all the functioning and the flatness and the going through motions. Still in there, still you. That hasn't gone anywhere.